For more than 25 years, we have traveled thousands of miles to experience the flavors, culture, and passions of Latinos. We have interviewed hundreds of Latinas of influence, business owners, artists, and community leaders. Our mission is to share with you the stories of our community. I'm Richard Sandoval, and welcome to Hispanic Lifestyle.
My name is Esperanza Teasdale, and I'm the Vice President and General Manager of the PepsiCo Beverages North America Hispanic Business Unit, which all means that our team champions the Hispanic consumer, shopper, amongst our brand teams, our sales teams, our customers, and we also really dedicate a lot of energy to bringing the cultural truths of the consumer forward. You know, like I do, the Hispanic consumer is not a monolith. It is a diaspora of so much culture and beauty and passion and music and food that reaching Hispanic consumers authentically means that we really need to understand those cultural truths. So that's what I do day to day. And then in addition to that, the last several years, I've had the pleasure of leading our racial equality work, which includes a platform called Juntos Crecemos. And that's really special because of what it does in elevating and supporting Hispanic-owned bodegas, restaurants, and carnicerias. So I have a pleasure of leading these charges, and it definitely is an inspiring position and opportunity for me to be able to give back to the community.
I want to talk a little bit about our Latino businesses throughout the United States and coming out of the pandemic. What are the kinds of things were you seeing? Because you literally have teams that go to visit these stores, and your group of people watch firsthand the impact that the pandemic had on these bodegas, these small stores, these family stores. Can you talk a little bit about that experience and maybe how it ended up impacting your program that you're going to share with us in a few minutes?
Sure. When we launched Juntos Crecemos, it was launched because we needed to understand the problems to solve with these small businesses. And at the time, after the pandemic had started, we were definitely seeing challenges with access to capital for a lot of these businesses. Their foundational business strategies, whether that was technology or day-to-day operations, were struggling. And then awareness to these businesses to get people in the door. So the pandemic really, really disrupted that in a really challenging way. And so when we built the platform, Juntos Crecemos, it was built to solve those issues, to be able to drive access to capital, to be able to provide business accelerating technology or programming, and to be able to drive awareness to these stores so that they actually could get people into them. So that's how it started. And you know, that was the impetus. It's our services have changed a little bit since then, not a lot, but because, you know, we've been through COVID and now we're trying to get back to, you know, the new normal and recognize that these businesses, like anybody else, had to really accelerate their digital platforms, technologies in order to keep up. So we continue to drive that with these businesses and hoping to help them continue to thrive and to drive economic empowerment for these families.
How do you sell a program like this to the powers that be? I mean, I'm sure you would love to write the big check, but take me through the process of convincing, the executives that this is a worthwhile program to invest in.
Yeah, this actually, the commitment to elevate the Hispanic businesses came from our CEO, Ramon La Huerta. So that actually was the easy part. He said, look, here's the commitment we're going to make to Black businesses and consumers, as well as Hispanic. And when he made that commitment for Hispanic, my team as the Hispanic business unit said, okay, let's build a strategy in order to plan how to deploy those funds and support. And that part was actually pretty easy too, because internally we are the subject matter experts. Many of our team is Latino. We come from all over the world, and we really understand this consumer better than anyone. So when we shared our strategy, shared our ideas, there was a real resounding like, this is great, go. And we've been very entrepreneurial in how we've approached it. And so while it is a huge, massive, publicly traded company, I have to say our team has been able to really have ownership and responsibility for what we're doing in the community. So I'm really proud that we've been able to do that. And so I know that might be surprising to you that I'm saying it was quote unquote easy, but doesn't mean we didn't have some challenges along the way. But overall, like, everyone was excited to do this work.
You know, I just want to say that you're touching on a couple of themes that Hispanic Lifestyle has been talking about for a few years, and that is we do a program called Surviving to Thrive, where we profile Latino-owned businesses.
Oh, great.
And then I'm advocating to anybody that I can is that really, why do we want to go back to the way things were? You know, this is an opportunity to reset and create our new normal. And with that said, can you talk to me about and share with us what the nuts and bolts of the program are, and how you guys are doing right now? I know you're in your first phase, if you will, of rolling it out.
Yes. And by the way, I love the surviving to thrive.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Love the concept of thriving is like so inherent in all of that. So I think that's really extraordinary that you do that for those businesses. So this new program, which has a very long title, but here you go. PepsiCo Greenhouse Accelerator Program, the Juntos Crecemos Edition, is basically another way for us to support entrepreneurs, Hispanic-owned businesses. And it brought together the Juntos Crecemos platform, which I mentioned, which was created through the racial equality commitments, with a global platform that's called Greenhouse Accelerator, which has been actioned in many countries over the last several years, where different stakeholders within our company have said, okay, we want to really focus in on a certain service or product, etc. And we want to find entrepreneurs and help support them. So this whole idea of elevating small businesses is inherent in the greenhouse. And so we combined forces, created this program then that we launched a few months ago, where we basically said, hey, we are looking for entrepreneurs. We are looking for folks who are in the food and beverage industry, provide a service or an innovation, and you need support. And we're here to help you. And so that's how the program was created. And since that, we had this selection criteria. We had a couple of hundred submissions, which we were really excited about, and determined which top 10 were then going to continue in the process and get mentoring and support across the business model for the next several months. And then it all...
Not to interrupt you, but I'm looking at the list of some of the recipients. They are very diverse in the industry. Yes, they are in the food industry, so to speak, but it isn't the types of businesses that you would automatically think. They're not all bodegas. They're not all the corner liquor stores, convenience stores. Yeah.
Correct. They're all, new product ideas or a technology idea, new ingredient, new line of seasonings or sauces, like you name it. It broadened the impact of small business and what that means and how we can help elevate and support them.
Well, we're talking about companies from Arizona, of course, California. There's some in New York, Miami, Illinois. You're all over the place. Congratulations. What a nice, diverse selection.
Yeah, it's super cool. And I'm excited because so we've done this greenhouse so many years that a lot of these businesses, like there's still personal connection. And that's probably the thing that also might be surprising is we are a, multinational conglomerate, publicly traded company, but the work we're doing that has to do with racial equality is very personal. It's very individual. It's very high touch. And it's all about the relationships we can build with people so that they understand that we authentically care about them. And that I think is what makes it so truly unique and special. It's not a transactional thing. Hey, you went through, check later. And
Right.
so that's what I think is so powerful about it and really meaningful.
So are we calling them grantees? So maybe you could clarify all of this, but they're getting $20,000 with an opportunity to get $100,000. And what is it you're hoping, or what have you heard that some of these businesses are going to do with this funding? Because I can tell you, as a small family-owned business myself, 20,000, 100,000, that makes a major impact on our operation.
Yeah, I don't know yet how they would plan on using it. I think that's part of the process as we work now with these 10 finalists, and they get coaching and mentoring and fine tune where do they need to invest their dollars in. I would say for most of them, it definitely is around scaling their businesses, and projecting them to grow at an accelerated pace, and identifying the unlock to that. That could be marketing, that could be R&D, that could be supply chain. Like they all may have different places that they need to optimize, but we're excited to see their final pitches and plans in November, and then give the winning entrepreneur $100,000 is really exciting.
It is. I mean, that could be the piece of equipment
Yeah.
that they have been missing, and like, this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. So
Yeah. And it's funny you say that, because there was a business that not related to this program specifically on Greenhouse, but when Juntos Crecemos first launched, there was a business in New York that we supported called Claudi's Kitchen, Peruvian owned. And Claudia is the owner. And at the time, they were really, it was in the heat of COVID, they were having a lot of trouble with staffing and talent. And they got a grant from PepsiCo, and they were able to invest in a machine to make empanadas. And that obviously helps from a labor perspective. So it was an instant, holy cow, this is going to help me keep up with the demand, even though I can't find the labor to squish the empanadas, los discos, and all that. So that's a real life example of how we know they leveraged funding.
So with all this said and done, we are getting back to the new normal. Can you provide me some insights, some feedback that you're getting from your street team, so to speak, on how our business community, specifically our Latino business community, is doing it? We'll say the point of sales registers, if you will.
Yeah, I think as things are getting back to normal, these businesses are hopefully thriving. I think that the digital transformation that has occurred over the last several years is still a reality that some businesses probably need to better address, get better equipped to transition, maybe from a brick and mortar establishment only to one that has a bigger digital presence. So I think that's going to be really, really paramount for these businesses, especially as they're competing with other places that might have, more tech savvy. I think the other thing is, so I liked when you said thriving before, because for the businesses to thrive, and many of these are family owned, and the goal is for someone else in the family to keep it going, is to make sure that there's an educational element to preparing that next generation to own and to accelerate those businesses, whatever they are. So that's something else that we're really trying to pay attention to, is like, how do we ensure that mentoring and coaching is more broadly available through the services we have, so that they have access to that, access to build capability from a leader, from a business perspective. So those are probably the two things I would say that are important right now to keep them thriving and going.